Hey there, welcome to Friday sessions. We're going to be doing some chair yoga this morning. So if you have a chair, please pull that up. I'm going to use my couch here. If you don't, you can do all of this on the floor and modify as we go along. Let's get started. All right, today's Friday session is blossoming tree pose. So as I mentioned, we're going to be using some gentle chair yoga to progress our way into tree pose and really just honor the season here in Ohio, the blossoming of spring. So to begin, start seated with your feet right underneath your knees and your knees and your feet about hips width apart. We're going to drape the body over the thighs. And you can support yourself with your hands or your elbows on your knees if that feels better on your lower back. Or if you can let the arms hang down, go ahead and let them drape over the legs so that the shoulders get pinned back and the head can release down toward the floor. And just take a couple breaths here, feeling that ragdoll position where we decompress the spine, where the feet firmly attach to the floor, where the head and the neck release, maybe a little lower than the heart. Maybe experience a little calming sensation, a little grounding. So in order to grow our tree pose and in order to blossom, we first want to feel that rooting and grounding into the earth. Slowly, we're going to roll the spine up so you can let your arms dangle down. And then once your spine comes upright, roll your shoulders onto your back and exaggerate that so that the chest really opens and broadens. Go ahead and take your right arm across your body to your left leg. Take your left arm behind you. You can hold the seat of your chair or the floor. And let's twist. Twist to your left. Try to keep your torso straight up and down between the anchors of your two hands. You can slide your chin back over your shoulder behind you. Take your gaze over your shoulder behind you. And then release. To the second side, left arm across to right leg, right hand behind you, sit up tall. Take a big breath in, fill up and rotate around to your right. Complete that twist all the way up through the cervical spine by aiming your chin back over your shoulder behind you. And then release. Come back to center. Make sure your feet are firmly planted on the ground. And we're going to slowly rise up to stand. So feel like you can gather up all the strength of your legs to do this. Take your arms out in front of you and maybe hinge slightly forward from your hips, but make a nice long spine. Rather than rounding and dumping forward, get light and lift the chest. And then press down into your heels, rise up to stand, reach the arms to the sky. And then exhale, go ahead and sweep back down. Sit your butt back down to your chair, to the floor. Inhale, we're gonna rise back up, sweep the arms up into the air, stretch the body long, and exhale, come back down. 2 more times like that. Push into your legs, feel your legs firm, and your body lift and grow tall. Exhale, release, sit back. And 1 more time. Press down, rise up, reach, and then return to your seat. Roll your shoulders onto your back, feel your chest open again. And notice that residual strength in the legs. We're going to use that and build on that to grow our tree pose. Now, you can keep doing that we just did with 2 legs underneath us, or you can try this challenge. Let's start by taking the left leg out in front. And so, let's see if I can move back a little bit here. I've just got my heel just gently resting against the ground and that leg out straight in front of me. So to make this slightly less intense, you could put more of the bottom of your heel on the ground and put a little more bend in that leg so that your left leg carries a little bit more of the weight. Otherwise, with that left leg out straight and your right leg bent, just like you had it before, the right leg is going to carry most of the weight. And we're going to stand up. So again, reach your arms forward, hinge forward from your hip creases, lengthen your belly over your thigh so that you feel like you're getting long and lifted here. Some of the weight comes up out of the hips. And then drive down into your right foot. See if you can lift up to stand on that right leg and then bring the left leg out in front of you. Good. Lower that left foot back down so your heel can root into the floor. It can just rest there and let your right leg do the work to lower you back to your seat. Good. How'd that go? Adjust if you need to. Put a little more weight into that left leg if that will help you to stand up with a little more grace. Or extend that leg out and try again. Reach forward, pull the belly in, press down into your right leg, grow tall. And then slowly release. Hips back to your seat. All right, take that left leg now and externally rotate it so that the knee points out to the side and you cross your outer ankle over the top of your right thigh. Flex this left foot. So your hand should be able to line up flat with the sole of that foot. So you know that your ankle isn't turning and sickling one way or the other here. And then your other hand can cap off your knee. So we want that nice long shin bone there. Sit up really tall, find some lift up out of your hip flexors, breathe in. And then stay right here or start to hinge forward just like you were doing when we were trying to stand up before. And this will work into that outer left hip, the external rotation that will be needed when we do tree pose with this leg lifted. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Good, go ahead and lift the chest. Unhook the leg, put the left foot back down on the floor and slide forward to the edge of your seat or your chair. Take your hands behind you. You can hold your seat. You can hold rails on the back of your chair if you have them or fingertips perched to the floor. And we're going to roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Think like cobra pose where there's that curl in the upper back. Lots of length in your lower back. Drop your tailbone down into your seat, but lift your sternum up toward the sky. Big breath in. And breathe out, return to neutral. Slide your seat back onto your chair there. And let's try for the other side. So left foot is going to be directly underneath the left knee. Right leg can extend out long. And again, I can just rest that heel so there's really no weight in the right leg. Or I can put a little more of that foot on the floor, maybe just slightly in front of my left toes to see if I can take most of the weight in my left leg to stand up. Remember, let the rest of your body help out too. Lengthen forward. Pull your low back in so that your core is all connected. And then drive down into your left foot. Rise up to stand. And then reach that leg out in front of you. Good. Lower it down. Hinge the hips back and sit slowly. Good. Try that again. Modify if you need to. Reach forward, push down, rise up, feel your foot anchor into the ground, right leg lifts, and then right heel taps down, reach your hips back, and return to sit. Excellent. Externally rotate the right leg. So the knee points out to the side, the ankle crosses over the left thigh, sole of the foot is flexed and flat, hand cap off the shin bone at the knee and the sole of the foot there. Sit up nice and tall. Lean back from your legs for a moment. Feel that openness here across the front of the pelvis. And try to keep that openness, even if you hinge forward. Try not to collapse into it, but lengthen out and over your legs. Big breath in. And breathe out. Good. Inhale, come back up. Undo the crossing of that leg. Slide forward onto your seat, roll your shoulders back, take your hands back behind you, put a little bend in your elbows, and then feel your rib cage lift and press up and forward, a blossoming of your heart space. And even as you lift the chest, can you point the tailbone down? It's almost like rocking back into your hips slightly. That engages the core more, and that's going to be essential for our balance when we take this tree pose in just a moment. Come back to neutral with your spine. And then go ahead and stand up on your 2 feet. So tree pose time. Maybe you've got that prop that you've been using, the chair, the seat, the couch. You can turn sideways to it with the leg that's going to be on the floor. I'm going to start with my left leg down and my right leg in tree pose. And that can help you find some balance or something to even firm. Think about firming your outer left leg in. And then take your right knee out in front of you. And then externally rotate, just like we did a moment ago seated, so that the knee points out to the side. Then take the sole of your right foot and land it below your knee. Yeah, below the side of your knee there. And take your hands to your heart. Press down into the sole of your foot, your left foot, just as firmly as you did when we had that one leg to stand on and rise, right? Feel like you're really plugging down into the trunk and the roots of that leg and that foot. And then feel like you're getting lighter and lifting the rib cage off of the pelvis, and maybe let the arms start to grow like branches. Big full breath through the lungs, all the way down into the belly and all the way out to the fingertips. And then slowly fold the hands back into heart center, plug into your core, point the right knee forward and set the right foot down. That left foot that was just holding you up there, take it and roll it out on the ground. Stretch the sole of the foot by making some circles, wiggling the toes around. And then we'll be ready for the other side. So we'll take it on the right leg, and I'll show you face on this time, but you're welcome to turn sideways and use your prop for your hand or your leg. Right foot glues down into the floor, left knee floats out in front of you. Externally rotate, so like opening a door, we open that left leg out to the side, and let the sole of the left foot land on the right inner thigh. Bring your hands to heart center. I'm going to move my hips more underneath me, more towards center. And in doing so, I feel that plugging down through my right foot as though I could just stand and grow taller and taller and blossom into a tree. So once you find your tree pose, let it blossom, let it bloom. Yeah. All the way from the roots, reach up and out through the branches. Excellent. Bring your hands back down to heart center. Point your left knee forward and return the left foot to the floor. Take that right foot, that right ankle for a couple circles in both directions. Loosen up the sole of the foot. Release any tension that can build up kind of there in the fascia of the foot when we balance. And then we're going to take it back to a seat one more time. And we're going to start this just the way we did in the beginning. And we're going to feel like we're moving from seed to fully blooming, blossoming, glorious tree, right? Exuding life. So we'll start in that ragdoll position. And just the way nature takes its time, feel yourself in that seed position first. Feel like the energy is starting to stew within you. And then slowly start to rise, roll up through the spine. And take your shoulders onto your back. Open across the chest. Plug down into your feet and reach your arms out in front of you and maybe even straight up overhead. From here, root down into your heels and rise up to stand. Reach up tall and then float your right knee out in front of you. Open into your tree pose and find full bloom, blossom the heart. Reach the arms back up alongside the ears. Point your right knee forward, return the right foot to the floor. Sit the hips back down. And then sweep the belly over the thighs. Return to the earth, return to your roots. Take your time. Feel as though you're blossoming, you're developing, you're growing as we begin to move. Roll the spine up, shoulders onto the back. Pull the navel in, reach the arms to the sky. Like a pillar, start to rise straight up. And then float the left knee out in front. Left leg becomes the tree leg. And then blossom open. Reach the arms back up. Point the left knee forward, set the left foot down. Slowly sink the hips back. And then bring your hands to heart center. Notice that blossoming of energy within your heart. That tree pose signifies. Thank you very much for joining me today. Have a beautiful spring day. I'll see you next time.